Most disrespectful animals. Why the elephant is there? Wait, is the elephant there? Or is it the one here? This looks like a hippo. Elephant, hippo, magpie, buffalo. Hmm. Uh-oh. Oh! Well, that's gotta hurt.
Black Air Force energy. Good old
Black
Urban
Air Force
Dictionary defines
energy.
it as a person or an object that has insane potential and is crazy enough to deal with anything without fear or hesitation, regardless of moral alignment, including its own rivals or competitors.
I've never heard this term before, Black Air Force energy. It's like a protagonist kind of deal, huh? I was about to say you mean kind of dumb. Brave and dumb. No fear, no hesitation. Just go in. Alright.
And despite clearly taking grammar lessons from NBA Youngboy, I'd say whoever wrote that was pretty on point. It's a term I use a lot in my videos without really explaining exactly what it is. So here's a full list of the top 10
First time I've
animals
heard
with
of
the
it.
most Black Air Force energy. Some
Rhino?
animals are an obvious pick, others might just surprise you.
Ooh,
But they've all earned their spot,
that's a good
including
punch.
the animal at number 10, which might have the least clout of any animal on this list, but that's only because it's found one place in the world. Because if this bird were airdropped across the globe, it'd definitely be more known for all the wrong reasons.
Oh my god. That's a scared lion right there.
Starting off is what happens when an animal is too smart for everyone else's quality of life. The Kia is a large parrot that can be found
Kia?
terrorizing the people of New Zealand. And don't let it fool you, this Black Air Force with a Grinch colorway is an op in every way.
Oh,
They're
Kiwi.
highly intelligent and armed with a hook-shaped
Why does
beak,
it say
which
Kiwi?
is a perfect tool for Kias to inflate insurance by picking
Kia?
apart cars. You see, the Kia is smart enough to associate people and the cars we drive with food, which is why this anti-mechanic is famous for committing the cutest carjackings you'll ever see.
Aw,
Of
cute
course, they don't just stop
carjacking.
at cars. This feather felon will go through purses, backpacks, duffel bags, and
Oh
swipe
my
anything
God.
they can fly away with. There was
Little
even a
menaces,
case
huh?
where this airborne pirate stole the passport of a Scottishman that
It's a
didn't want to be
pirate.
identified. Because no one wants to be remembered for getting denied from your home country because you got your passport pickpocketed by a panhandling parrot. It happened to him and it can happen to you, but guess what? If you happen to get your wallet snatched and try to see the Kia about it, be prepared to also eat a several $1,000 fine and even jail time. Kias are protected by the government
Oh,
because
of
it
course
only
they're
makes sense that
protected.
something with wings would be
They can
above
get
the
away
law.
with
And
it.
it's almost
Oh,
like
they're
every Kia
crazy.
knows it and acts accordingly. But
They definitely know they're protected by law. They know it. This is why they're evil. Because they could get away with it. That's how it is. Oh my goodness. Diplomatic immunity. Exactly. They do all this stealing because they can get away with it.
it's not just humans getting griefed. Kias will regularly raid other birds' nests and make omelets with their unborn children.
Sheesh.
And they'll use that Swiss Army knife
Oh
of a
my
nose
God.
to remove parts of a living sheep to eat.
I think I've heard of this one before. Maybe from this channel as well. It's kinda disturbing, huh? They feed on the sheep while it's still alive. Damn. That's brutal. And no one can do anything about it because they're protected.
And there have been reports of them victimizing dogs and even horses. But
Oh,
at least
no.
the Kia isn't a legitimate
Not the
physical
doggies.
threat to people. The next animal's responsible for putting more zookeepers on workers' comp than any other animal. The African wilderness has some of the most ways to F around and find out per square mile in the world.
F
So
around,
it makes sense
find
that living
out.
in the most dangerous area codes in
Zebra?
the world has turned the zebra into an actual psychopath. This oppressed warrior horse has the strongest kick in the animal kingdom.
I actually never thought that zebras are kind of assholes. Well, until I watched Madagascar. Because Marty is kinda... You know, I thought it was kinda weird that Marty has unlikable personality in Madagascar. I guess it turns out that zebras are just like that. They're kinda ass. Like donkeys. I didn't know. Oh no, they are disrespectful, these zebras. Look at that! Look at that kick though, that's really good.
Strong enough for Marty
That's a
to
good
have
kick.
written Alex out of the sequel. Which is why, even though lions body them often, every once in a while a lion has to explain to his ancestors how he got flatlined by a high-strung equality donkey. But the generational anxiety of being constantly hunted means the zebra
Oh
will
my
often
god,
one-shot
he's just
something
kicking
for
this
existing
guy!
too close to it.
Dude,
There's
he's
two
just...
reasons why you won't
He's just trying to eat! This guy is crazy! He's paranoid! This little fella is just trying to eat! I think it's a baby. Oh no!
hunted means the zebra will often one-shot something for existing too close to it.
It's
There's
just
two reasons why you
trying to
won't see a
eat.
person riding a zebra.
my God.
One, they're too small. And two, every zebra is fundamentally a bastard to its core. No, like literally. Because many mother zebras will actually mate with as many males as possible. Because if she's showing and he suspects it's not hers, he'll violently press her until it's terminated. And if the baby's already out, that's just an invitation for him to demote her from mother to mourning. And going back to humans, zebras are infamous for allegedly putting as many zoo staff in the ER as any other animal. They may look like horses whose favorite part of a birthday is the finger painting station, but this panda pony's liable to paint the block with their insides if you breathe at them the wrong way. Treat one like a barnyard animal and negotiate your left hand.
Alex was nice to Marty because he wanted to live and not get kicked to unaliving. I guess that's true. Yeah. I didn't think of it that way. Dude, Marty is such an ass. Marty is so mean. He's very selfish. I mean, the whole plot of Madagascar wouldn't happen if Marty didn't dream of going to the wild, but still. Marty? I don't want to be friends with that guy. Bites are not a joke among horse-like creatures. That's true, that's true.
And because zebras are genetically closer to donkeys than horses, calling it the ass of Africa is a scientifically accurate title.
Is he
and as
scratching
the
his
default
butt?
protein of
I
many
think
of the
he is.
landlords of the savannah, it's a title
Scratching
they
his
hold
butt
with
in the
pride.
branch.
Because it's the best one they can get. 10% off is also what you can expect if you treat this barcode horse as a petting zoo. But at least they have the excuse of constantly being plotted on. The next animal has less excuses but more disrespect.
I guess if you're always the prey, huh? You gotta have a way to defend yourself, that's true. Because they're food. They're food to lions. And there's probably a lot of lions in there, so... That's why they're very skittish and just kick anything that gets close to them. But still, dude. Zebras?
Deer manage to cause billions of dollars in damage a year by playing freeze tag with cars, and that ironically makes them the most dangerous animal in America. But where blissful ignorance makes deer a threat, the deer of Down Under initiate conflict. 9 out of 10 car accidents in Australia involve kangaroos, and a good number of them are premeditated and not by the driver. Kangaroos assault vehicles with enough regularity to commit insurance
he wants to beat up the car. Oh my goodness.
In fact,
That kangaroo did that on purpose. Because he saw that there's gonna be a car. He saw the light. He saw the light. He stops. Goes back. So he doesn't get hit. But stops again. And launches an attack. He did that on purpose. He knows. He knows, dude.
In fact, kangaroos will regularly beef with inanimate objects. But it's not just the bluff. These are some brawless marsupials, armed with claws, but more importantly a sharp dagger of a toenail. Which is why it's not a kangaroo's punch you have to worry about, but that Jurassic pedicure disembowelment. It's what makes their sparring sessions so lethal. That and the fact that kangaroos start every day with the specific goal of inconveniencing as many life forms as possible. If you happen to fly a drone in kangaroo country, prepare to have your insurance tested. In fact, it's not a stretch to say they hate anything that flies. Can you imagine how ridiculous this could have gotten? Imagine people thinking you died paragliding when really you survived but got mobbed by a pack of robots on impact. Kangaroos are number 8 because there's really no good reason for this. You see, as dangerous as Australia is, there aren't really any dominant apex land predators. While kangaroos often contend with dingoes and the occasional wedge-tailed eagle, a full-grown kangaroo doesn't have much that can threaten it, other than a bigger kangaroo. So my working theory is, they got cocky. And until nature airdrops some bears or maybe some type of big cat, kangaroos are still gonna be out here thinking they can do whatever. Try to change their mind at your own.
I knew he was gonna push that guy in the water. He was thinking about it for a while. Look at that. He's just hovering. He was calculating if the guy is gonna turn around. And it's like, well, since you're not gonna turn around, let me do a little prank. A little silly prank on this man. Fuck this guy in particular. Everything in Australia wild is terrifying, yeah. If you punch a kangaroo in the face hard enough, they will back off because they think you kick 3 times harder. Ooh. Well, I'm not gonna go out and punch a kangaroo if I ever see one. I'm scared. They're really buff. Kangaroos are like Bully Maguire. Yes.
They can do whatever. Try to change their mind at your own risk. As on-site as these malicious macropods are, they're not even the most disrespectful animal in Australia, and believe me, we'll get to that. The Big Five refers to the top 5 most dangerous animals to hunt in Africa. These include the elephant, the rhinoceros, the lion, the leopard, and an animal so feared it's been nicknamed Black Death. The African Cape buffalo is a walking attempted homicide case armed with a pair of horns to make most attempts successful. They have one of the highest KD ratios against humans with guns. In some places, these tanks with road rage and 50% of the people they go after, and a lot of that is because they will actively seek revenge. There have been stories of one buffalo murdering the same hunter that took out a member of its own herd. And
I mean, that's kind of base, not gonna lie. They remember faces, huh? I mean, if they go for someone that targeted one of their family, I think it's based. They should be able to do that. It's fine. Because they're just protecting their own kind, right? That's base, that's base.
Same hunter that took out a member of its own herd. And whether you're a lion or a hunter, these trench cows get it back in blood. And the scariest version of a Cape buffalo is one that's already been injured. Hunters have followed a mortally wounded buffalo into thick brush, only for the freight train with legs to circle back and ambush them from behind. Which is why the #1 rule when hunting Cape buffalo, assume you only have one shot because that's usually all you get. But it's not just humans getting bodied. Bloodlusting buffalo will seek out unsupervised lion cubs and log them out of life before they grow up to be a threat. Not like the adults aren't at risk either. Capes will stalk and circle lone lions, using the threat of gang violence to give Mufasa a roommate. Which is how the same apex predator that can solo multiple hyenas can get sent up a tree like a house cat. They're like
oh no, look at him. Oh, he's all alone. He's in the wrong neighborhood. That's fine. That's cute. It's cute, but also it's funny now that I know the context. I thought it's like hiding. He's just hiding from the buffalo. Like a little hide and seek, but apparently it's scared of them. Oh my god.
Sent up a tree like a house cat. They're like the Liam Neeson of animals. Log them and they make their life's mission to co-sign your obituary. That first hit was self-defense. Everything after that was a personal choice. And even though experienced lions can take them down, it's still very much a gamble. Especially since they can travel in herds of hundreds. That's also how they earned the nickname Widowmaker. Because right now there's at least one woman on Tinder because her husband decided to hunt a 1-ton vibe check while the buffalo decided that would be the day he finally live up to his nickname. It's a murderous mammal, but like the zebra, it's often just self-defense gone way too far. Not like the antics of the next animal.
Ah, buffalo.
If you're talking about the Black Air Force of the sky, you're probably talking about crows. Or really just corvids in general. Crows are smart enough to manipulate their environment to their advantage. But they're also devious enough to manipulate other animals for their own sadistic pleasure. I don't know what that crow said to that cat, but it certainly involves someone's mother. Ravens will weaponize their relationship with wolves to call out hits on competing coyotes.
Oh my god.
Crows in Tokyo have especially become a problem where they've basically gone to war against the entire human population. But it's not just humans getting bullied. There might not be a worse time to be an owl than in broad daylight surrounded by a murder of crows. Not to mention crows will often raid the nests of other birds for a disturbingly literal kids meal. And that's why they're not just straight up snatching minors in front of their parents. I think EDP just found a spirit animal. They'll regularly mob and harass other birds until they drop the food they've already caught. And crows won't hesitate to beat on much larger birds of prey. Which might explain why they do the exact same thing with humans to get them to surrender whatever calories they have on them. But the avian onslaught peaks out with the Australian magpie. Now, turns out they're not actually
it's the magpie.
They actually sit closer to another bird with psychopath tendencies. Either way, Australian magpies manage to be the most feared thing in a country seasoned with crocs, cassowaries, and snakes. And while most wildlife is harmless as long as you respect their space, the earth is their space, and they have no patience.
Wait, cassowary is that bird that looks like a dinosaur, right? Yeah! Looks like a dinosaur. He's huge! Even the babies look like dinosaurs. Everything the light touches is mine. Fun fact, if you are enough gentle with crow, they can sometimes bring you joy. Well, yeah. They remember faces, and if you're nice to them, they would probably return the favor in their own way. Anything precious and bling bling. Oh, yes, the bling bling.
for trespassers, to the point where many Australians have taken to wearing helmets to protect themselves
Oh
from
my
the
god, they're
magpies' malicious
crazy.
intent, especially during swooping season, where magpies will
Swooping
relentlessly
season?
attack anything that gets near their nest. Actual human lives have been lost to this goth Tweety's tantrums. And since
Aw.
corvids can remember faces, once you've been swooped, you can expect the same treatment next year. I think
No,
Tirzu said
no.
it best, corvids are what would happen if you gave monkeys wings. But at least in the magpie's case, they're only a legitimate threat to a human way of life for the roughly 6 weeks of swooping season. Next animal is
6
one of
weeks
the biggest
of
dangers to
swooping
humans all
season.
year round.
I mean, 6 weeks of swooping season is still a lot. I would rather have 0 weeks of swooping season.
It was really only a matter of time before the
Hippo.
river rhino made an appearance. Widely considered the world's deadliest mammal,
Oh,
you
look
may
at
have
that
noticed that
chomper.
hippos weren't included in the Big Five.
Oh,
I have to
it's
assume that's
so
because nobody
huge.
that has a desire to see the next day would actually hunt them. Arguably, no animal has a harder working PR team than the hippopotamus.
Dude, it's so rotund. It's very circular. Oh my god. Kind of cute. They look cute. Because they have this tiny ears, tiny eyes, big mouth, and the mouth is kind of ooh, doing the ooh. And they're very friend shape. But I wouldn't want to be friends with them. I don't want to pet them. They look friend shaped, but you must not pet this chonker right here. It's cute, but not really. Chunkiest of chunks.
Has a harder working PR team than the hippopotamus. First of all, it's not the goofy lardonky it lets you think it is. A thin subcutaneous fat layer means hippos are actually walking units. And despite
Walking
their
unit.
appearance, hippos
Oh,
can
look at
outpace
that.
any human over short distances.
Look at
and
him
that includes
go.
on land and in water, where they somehow become
It's
even
kinda
more
cute, though.
territorial. Hippos have been known to lower the census totals of other animals for seemingly no reason. Just when an antelope thinks it's been bailed out, the slaughter horse does origami with its
Ooh.
spine. And even though they're supposed to be herbivores, every once in a while they'll give into the temptation of tasting the flesh of their victims.
Wait, this video is before modding got popular, right? 2 years ago? Or is this modding? This is probably not modding. Ah, modding's so cute though. Fun fact, that's not fat, that's all muscle. It's not fat, but he's still rotund, okay? It doesn't take away the fact that the hippo is still rotund as fuck. Still chunky, even if it's all muscle. Yeah, it's so cute. Look at that. Is this a baby or is this a pygmy hippo? I don't know. It looks cute.
Cannibalism is not off the table. Science doesn't really know why exactly they
Cannibalism?
do this, but science doesn't account for an animal just being a dick. Few predators will press this obese water pig, and those that do so at their own risk. Hippos are so
Ooh,
carnage
that's gotta
heavy that
hurt.
the biggest threat to a baby hippo is a bigger, meaner bull hippo. It's how a hippo baby shower can
No.
legitimately end in a rain of flesh confetti.
No,
Now, to
baby.
be fair, plenty of animals resort to infanticide. Hippos are just really mean about it. Like I said, nobody's PR team works harder. Except maybe
His
dolphins,
spine's just sleeping.
Which makes sense, since despite resembling
Okay.
ungulates like warthogs and rhinos, the hippo's closest living relatives are actually cetaceans like dolphins and whales. But instead of making it out in the ocean, hippos decided to make a living griefing everything in its area code.
Aw.
And I didn't even mention the way they claim that area code.
Oh! No! The spray! No! They're marking! I don't like this. Look at that butt. It's kind of brownish. That means it was poopies. It's liquid poopies. He was spraying liquid poopies everywhere. Bro. Oh my god. The shit store. Look at the balls. Oh my god. This hippo is nasty.
You know, if you unsubscribed right now, I wouldn't blame you. The only thing that can make this whale Karen more of a menace than it already is
Oh
if it were a
my
straight up
God.
predator. Or
Hippo
if it
spray.
packs. Then again, that would literally make it an animal
Oh,
for
there he is
everybody's
again.
list.
The chonker.
My personal bias was not going to keep the elephant off this list. As much as I love them, elephants can be a devastating combination of smart enough to do anything and big enough to get away with it. Asian elephants especially get
that
themselves into
hurts.
trouble by raiding villages and
That
emptying out
slap
their
is
rice
gotta hurt.
supply, which is why Asian elephants are responsible for the bulk of human hashtags, especially since they can be just as vengeful as the Cape buffalo. Earlier this year, a man in Thailand had an elephant working hauling wood in the brutal heat, which is illegal, and apparently the elephant knew his rights because he proceeded to rip his boss in half. And of course, we gotta address the I'm better than that. One elephant
in
traveled
the
over
room?
100 miles to murk a 70-year-old woman collecting water, only to pull up to her funeral to attack the sole evicted body, this time in front of her family.
He mentioned this in the previous video, yeah. Elephant mauled a woman to death and went to his funeral to smackle the corpse as well. Crazy. And the thing about them as well is they remember. They remember a lot. They will not forget their vendetta. Elephants are scary.
The biggest mystery of mankind is what motivated
They're very
Ford
cute,
to
but
pack
they're
up to pack
scary.
up an elderly woman twice. If he had a reason, it's not like he's gonna tell us. Elephants rank over hippos because where hippos commit war crimes in the heat of passion, when an elephant catches a body, you can almost be certain it was premeditated. And it's in populations that have been fragmented by poaching where young male elephants really fly off the handle. And bull elephants are already pretty high-strung as it is,
Oh,
but they
no,
managed to
baby.
get worse in communities decimated by poaching, to the point where 3 elephants in South Africa were responsible for deleting 63 rhinos as well as charging at people. Now, to be fair, poaching typically targets older bulls, and research shows that without old heads around, younger male elephants go into must a lot sooner than they should, which I get. What I don't get is why that has to involve turning a rhino from a tight end to a wideout, where you have to remember
That elephant was riding a rhino. That's not an elephant under there. No, it's a rhino. Huh. Okay. Didn't expect that. Yeah, same. Well, first time for everything. First time to learn that. You learn something new every day, I guess. Alright.
to remember is that elephants are intelligent enough to experience every human emotion like compassion, empathy, and pain. But for every headline like this, you might get a headline like this. And if elephants wore shoes, they'd rock the biggest black Air Forces the world's ever seen. But that's
Is he
only
gonna
because
kick
the
the
next
turtle?
animal on this list doesn't have legs.
Doesn't wanna... I thought he's gonna kick the turtle. He just wants to push the turtle around. Aww.
One of the biggest injustices of cinema was that where dolphins got cast as a lovable flipper, sharks got typecast as Jaws. Dolphins are the most disrespectful beings in the ocean.
Ooh.
Makes sense because they're basically intelligent hydrodynamic hippos. They regularly bully sharks, use fish nets and live
Hydrodynamic
eels
hippos.
as marital aids, commit unprovoked acts of porpoiside, all while letting humanity think they're the good guys. They have mating practices so brutal that I probably can't even talk about them. Just know that what dolphins like to do.
Yeah, I've seen that part in the previous video as well. That's... Bro. Elephant be like, I came looking for booty, but we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Oh no. And the rhino couldn't do anything about it because the elephant is bigger and stronger.
To each other, guidelines might try to do to me. But we can't talk about dolphins without talking about the biggest dolphin of all. The orca is the most dominant apex predator on the planet that isn't human. And as if sheer size and intelligence wasn't enough, they typically hunt in pods with the coordination of a wolf pack, which is how this oppressive sea oriole regularly greets the tankiest animals on the planet. They're such a force that great whites have been known to abandon hunting grounds for up to a year once this steroid-quality guppy makes an appearance. Probably because they've been known to use the shark's biology against them to rob them of their heart and liver, just to leave the rest of the shark to sink to the abyss. And then there's the fact that orcas often practice their craft on other animals. Which is why if you ever feel bad about penguins getting bullied by seals, I suggest you see what happens when a Navy SEAL joins the Air Force. And while you could chalk this up to hunting strategy,
He yeeted that seal. Holy. That's a seal right there. It's flying. Oh, fuck this particular seal.
Navy
Oh,
SEAL joins
no.
the Air Force. And while you could chalk this up to hunting strategy, there's also the chance that living life on Raku difficulty means orcas get bored and
Oh,
just start trying stuff. And while it's true a wild orca has never
they're
taken
just
out a
bored,
human, that
huh?
hasn't stopped them from actively messing with human vessels with disturbing regularity. It's like they know who's ruining the ocean and adjust their behavior accordingly. Either way, orcas are the humans
Oh,
of
they
all things.
know.
Moral of the story, Free Willy
They
should have been put
know.
on parole. The only thing more Black Air Force than an animal that grieves everything around it would be an animal that commits atrocities against its own kind. And that's why orcas are only number 3.
Oh.
Ask any zookeeper what animal they fear the most. If they don't say chimps, they've never worked with one. A common misconception is that
Chimpa.
chimps are 5 times stronger than the average man. And while the number is actually closer to 1.5, chimps have more fast twitch muscles, a stronger bite force, and a stronger grip force. Their ability to use tools is fascinating to watch, until you realize that means they're able to create and use
Oh, no.
weapons. People often forget that chimpanzees are pack hunting predators able to execute attacks with the precision of early man, and that doesn't just apply to their prey. Chimps in Luongo National Park have been documenting attacking families of gorillas and murking any helpless offspring they can get their hands on.
Damn.
Literally no animal safe from the violent
Oh my
tendencies
God.
of the Furious George. But it's
Was that a raccoon? What is that? It's a raccoon! It's either a raccoon or a cat with a fluffy tail. Just yeeted him.
no animal
No.
safe from the violent tendencies of a
No,
Furious George.
or maybe a
But it's the
lemur.
damage they inflict against their own kind that puts them over the top. Chimp casualties often share the same injuries: a disfigured face, missing fingers if not entire hands, and a non-consensual neutering. Chimps seem to have an understanding of what's important to an animal, and they go out of their way to remove it. It's
He's just going for the gooch. Non-consensual neutering. This guy is getting circumcised without his permission. Oh no! Oh no! That is the appropriate reaction right there. Monkeys are evil. Oh my god. I mean, they're like humans. But they don't need to wear clothes because they're still furry. Oh my god. Holy shit.
it. It's why I can show you this picture and you'll understand. And it's why instead of organ donor, I have, if ever maimed by a chimp, just let me die on my driver's license. And it's also why you probably have a better chance of surviving being locked in a room with a lion
Ooh.
than in a room with a furry chainsaw.
Oh my god.
The fact that a chimp can get put 6 feet under by members
Oh,
of its own
slap
troop
that butt.
guarantees them a spot on this list. The only way an animal could beat that is if something was enough of a menace to be a legitimate threat to itself. And that's exactly what number 1 is. But before we reveal number 1, here's some honorable mentions.
So the second one, number 2, chimps. It's number 2 because it's a threat to its own family, and number 1 is it's a threat even to itself. Holy shit, what is this? Who is this animal? My goodness. I'm more afraid of chimps than tigers. I don't know, I'm scared of everything. Not going out. I'm gonna stay in my snack cave forever.
The Canadian goose. For having the
Goose,
most
look
irrational
at
confidence
those,
of any
teeth
animal.
on the
They actually
tongue.
almost went extinct, and now they revolve their entire existence around punishing humanity for it.
Oh.
Swans. Because what geese think they are, swans always have been.
Oh
Wolverines.
my god.
Because they're more than capable of hunting for
Wolverine?
themselves, but they'd rather tax animals 3 times their size for a living. Meerkats. For being quite literally the most homicidal mammals on the planet.
Oh,
And now at number
they
1,
kill
to
their own
absolutely no
kind.
one's
I didn't know
surprise,
that. Dude. Lion King made me believe that meerkats are cute as fuck. Well, I guess Timon's family are kind of mean to him. I didn't know that they kill their own kind, huh? I have a feeling I know who number 1 is.
The
What
honey
is it?
badger. The
Oh,
most
honey badger, of course.
unapologetically disrespectful creature on Earth.
Of course
I have an
it is.
entire video dedicated to the exploits of this steroid skunk, but here are some highlights.
They
They'll
fear no
regularly
one.
pinch food from leopards and then throw a tantrum if they
Of
get
course
caught.
the honey
They'll take on packs
badger.
of animals that realistically should be able to one-shot them. But the Oreo weasel has plot armor in the form of crackhead courage. They'll raid the hives of
Crackhead
African
courage.
bees, the same bees that are 10 times meaner and sting 10 times more than their European cousins. And honey badgers aren't immune to bee stings. They're resistant, but enough stings will flatline a honey badger. But ask the honey badger if he cares. He won't answer, but you
They
know
don't
the answer.
care.
These prison ferrets also run faints
Oh
with
my
highly
god,
venomous
no, not the
cobras.
snake.
If they manage to get bitten, they'll just slip into a cobra-induced coma and then wake up hours later and walk it off like a Sunday morning hangover. Even the honey badger's idea of self-defense is as offensive as you can get. As in, they'll reverse their anal pouches inside out and release a smell so pungent it can allegedly paralyze attacking bees. And
Reverse their anal pouches inside out. Huh. Those are words I don't really want to hear. But okay. They will release a stink bomb, basically. Prison ferret, that's the rule. And their budget doesn't give a shit. Look at that, he's very tough. Tough looking son of a bitch.
honestly, any animal that religiously attacks the baby makers of others is a different tier of menace. No other badger represented this better than Stoffel, who once escaped from his enclosure and picked a fight with a neighboring family
Stoffel?
of lions who nearly mauled him to death.
They look
After
kinda
about
cute,
2
huh?
months in the hospital, the first thing the affiliated ferret did fresh out was go right back at the same lions to settle the score. And that was only one of the hundreds of times Stoffel managed to raise the blood pressure of the people around him. But here's the real kicker. Stoffel was actually hand-raised by humans at a young age
cute.
and therefore imprinted on them. He had no intention of ever leaving. The whole thing was just a game to him. Because if blatant disrespect were a sport, they still wouldn't play it because anything involving rules goes against a honey badger's belief system. But that's gonna do it for this video. For more consistent content, be
Oh
sure to
my
follow
god.
my Instagram and TikTok.
He's
I try to
following
post
all
daily
these
on
3
both.
big
And
cats.
to further support this channel, my
Bruh.
Patreon's also gonna be in the description. But also, like, don't feel like you have to give anything. If you watch the video this far, you've already done more than enough. But
Aw,
other than that,
cute.
drink water, hug your mother, don't hug a honey badger. It'll never end well. And I'll see you in the next one.
I mean, that dancing there is cute. But yeah, I wouldn't hug it.
Honey badger, it'll never end well. And
Oh,
I'll
that's
see you
cute.
in the next one.
Aww. Free the honey badger. It is the Africa's most wanted, yeah. I don't know why I didn't think about the honey badger. Of course it is #1. Oh my god. They're crazy. They're the ultimate menace to society. And they can use tools as well. They know. They know what they're doing. This is the ending song. Ending song. This is the ending song.